I found a dime bag with a mysterious powder in my fiancé's pocket. So I don't really know who to talk to about this, so I sat down and listened to THT to make me feel better about my situation. Then I thought I should just write in. So I, 22-year female, got engaged to my fiancé, 22 male, in November 2025. We have been together since high school, 15 or 16 years old. We've had the basic fights and disagreements, but it's never become more than that. Well, he left for the military in November of 2025. Yes, the same month we got engaged. I really disliked the entire engagement, but that's a whole other story. He was home for 2 weeks in December for Christmas break, and he was home again for 2 weeks in April. When he was home in April, I was in the midst of moving our apartment filled with both our stuff. He said he came home in April to help me move by packing/dealing with his stuff. Well, he ended up only packing 4 boxes in those 2 weeks, and I had to move our entire apartment myself. He is a very big gamer. For those 2 weeks in Christmas and April, he mainly spent most of his time playing video games. Now, I think I am very relaxed. It never bothered me how much he gamed as long as he continued to help me when I needed him. Well, we got in a bad fight a couple weeks ago. I pretty much opened the floodgates on how I was feeling with everything. Since he left for the military, his communication has been awful. I barely ever hear from him. I have no idea what he's even doing there besides the very few things he tells me, and we never call because he says he's busy. For the first few months of his military service, I accepted that answer. I had no idea what it was like in the military, but he told me he was too busy to talk, so I took that at face value. Keep in mind he was off course for 4 months due to an injury. I then learned a couple months ago that he wasn't actually as busy as he told me. His best friend let slip, after helping me with moving since I didn't have anyone, that they play video games together for hours almost every night. This obviously really hurt because I have been working my ass off. I work from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. 5 days a week with both my jobs. I'm doing this because he told me he wanted the same things I did, which is a home, children, a wedding, etc., etc. All of that costs money, so I've been doing everything I can to make that future a possibility. All I felt was overworked, tired, and worst of all, completely and utterly alone. I have very little family, and they don't speak to me after I decided to cut my father out of my life. I only have one friend who lives in a different city than I do, and with my work schedule I never see her. Well, anyways, I pretty much opened up about everything. That included finances. We agreed before he left for the military that he was going to use that time to save money as well. He still has bills, yes, but he doesn't have to drive, doesn't pay for groceries, gas, rent, etc., etc. So we agreed this would be the perfect time to save money, and I can deal with the day-to-day expenses here. In this conversation, I was telling him about my finances and how my savings were going. I asked him the same. That's when he told me he had no savings. At all. So I kind of lost it, since I have been so exhausted from working so much so we can have the life I thought we both wanted. I told him to tell me all his expenses that he has to pay save, and he couldn't even tell me where that money has been going. And it turned out he had over $1,000 per month available to... My biggest fear is I think I just found where it's been going last night. I haven't talked to him about it, so I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but I put his jacket on to grab my Uber Eats order last night. And in a hidden pocket on the inside, I found a dime bag with a pinkish-whitish powder. He's the only person that has worn this jacket, and it's one of his favorites. I never loaned it or let anyone borrow it, so it can't be anyone else's. I just don't even know what to think. I didn't immediately confront him. He says he doesn't have his phone for 5 weeks, so it's not like he could have a sit-down and have a phone conversation about it anyways. I included photos of the bag/powder, but I'm not sure if that will get my post taken down. I guess we'll see. I guess all I'm asking is I could really use some advice right now. If that's from listeners of THT or Morgan herself, I will take any advice. I don't want to stay with him if he's using drugs. I am not that kind of person, and he knows that. But we've been together for 6 years, and we are engaged now. I feel trapped. Help. Update, July 28th, 2026. Hello all. Sorry for the lack of updates this past week. Thank you all for the advice and kind responses. It means the world. A little clarification for a few people asking. It is not 2 different bags in the photos. The first photo was on a dark table that the logo blended into. It's only the one bag. Now for the update. I sent him an angry text message along with photos of the bag. This is what I said. Honestly, Peter, I don't believe a word out of your mouth anymore. That's all it's been. Words. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Why TF did I find this in your jacket pocket? I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of your shitty communication, and I'm sick of how you treat me. I don't think you realize right now what you have been doing to me for months, and I don't think you will ever realize. If this seems out of the blue or you think I'm acting crazy, then that just proves it. I'm fucking done. Apologies for the crude language. I don't usually swear often, but it felt nice in the moment to go off on him, lol. He ended up calling me the next night completely distraught. Crying and begging, the full 9 yards. He swore up and down that the powder was crushed up rocket candies. For the American readers, I'm in Canada, your Smarties are our rockets, and the bag was from work. Before he joined the military, he worked for an oil field equipment company in the inventory area. He said they used those bags for small screws and washers. Now, I still don't 100% believe this, especially the bag, since Heavy D and the bag itself looks from my research like it's only used for nefarious purposes, not an oil company. Crushing up rockets at work because he's bored? That I can believe. One thing to know about this guy is he does some odd things. I always found it sweet. He carries around his favorite wrench and favorite button. He even used to walk around with a little bag of pink Himalayan salt. So him crushing up rocket candies and carrying them around with him doesn't seem out of the blue for his character. He swore on his life, his cat's life, God, etc., which I know he wouldn't do if he wasn't being genuine. But it's still hard for me to believe. I'm still working on that. Now, I know this update will probably not be to your guys' liking, but I am still with him. We spoke for a very long time about everything. His lack of communication and interest in me, his lack of motivation, his money issues, and just overall his flagrant disregard for our relationship and future. What I learned is he's been struggling with a lot of issues, and he didn't come to me. I asked why he felt he wasn't able to open up to me about these feelings, and he didn't know why. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what has been weighing on him, since that's not my information to share, but some things he said did worry me. He agreed to speak to someone, not only about the issues in our relationship, but his personal issues. He also opened up to me about how he was unsure about staying in the military. He does still enjoy being in the military, but he's been debating moving from active duty to reserve duty. In Canada, it's like working part-time with the military, and most people have a civilian job alongside it. He's always been interested in being a cop as well, so he said he wants to look more into that. He also said that he would do anything to make me feel happy in this relationship again. I was completely honest with him that I can't guarantee that will happen. I told him I will need to see actual long-term change if I'm going to even debate staying with him. He is still currently on course, weapons engineer, so he still isn't able to call as often as he wants. He was able to talk to his CO and fellow cadets, and they agreed to give him extra phone time so we could deal with this issue while they covered for him. So that was very nice. As of now, the wedding is obviously on hold. Pretty much our entire relationship is on hold until I see definitive long-term change, and I feel 100% confident in our relationship. If I don't see that, then I am prepared to walk away.